There are moments on television that feel less like broadcasts and more like shared memories. The kind that quietly slip past your guard, settle into your heart, and stay there longer than you ever expected. This was one of those moments. Ruth Langsford stood there with the familiar warmth viewers have known for years. Her smile was gentle, her posture calm, but there was a softness in her expression that instantly caught attention. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't loud, and that's exactly why it mattered so much. As her words began to flow, something shifted. This wasn't just another emotional television moment. It felt personal, intimate, almost like being let in on a private conversation that millions of viewers somehow shared all at once. And at the center of it all was a farewell. Not cold, not distant, but filled with affection, history, and unspoken understanding. Ruth Langsford has always had a way of making people feel comfortable. Her presence doesn't demand attention, it invites it. She listens as much as she speaks. She laughs easily, sometimes at herself, and she brings a sense of authenticity that feels rare. So when emotion crept into her voice, viewers felt it instantly. This goodbye wasn't about finality, it was about reflection. As she spoke, there was a tenderness that felt almost romantic, not the kind found in grand gestures, but the quiet romance of shared life. Years of partnership, countless mornings, inside jokes, moments no camera ever captured. You could hear it in her pauses, in the way she chose her words carefully, as if each one carried a memory. And yet there was lightness, too. Ruth didn't let the moment drown in sadness. She smiled, she laughed softly. At one point, her humor peeked through, that familiar sparkle reminding everyone that even emotional moments can carry joy. That balance between laughter and tears is what made the farewell so powerful. Viewers responded immediately. Across screens everywhere, people leaned in closer. Some smiled, some sighed, some admitted they didn't realize how invested they were until that very moment. Comments poured in from fans who felt like they were watching someone they truly knew, not just a television presenter. Many spoke about how Ruth and Eamon had become part of their daily lives, morning routines, background conversations, comforting voices during ordinary days, the kind of presence that sneaks into your life quietly and becomes important without asking permission. So when Ruth's emotions surfaced, fans felt it as their own. There was something beautifully human about it all. No exaggerated drama, no forced emotion, just honesty. The kind that doesn't need explanation, the kind that feels like a shared exhale after holding your breath for a long time. And through it all, the connection between Ruth and Eamon was unmistakable. Not flashy, not performative, just real. That's what made it romantic. Not romance as a storybook fantasy, but romance as partnership, mutual respect, shared resilience, knowing someone so well that words sometimes aren't even necessary. That kind of connection doesn't fade easily, and viewers could sense that. Even in saying goodbye, there was togetherness. Fans noticed the small details, the way Ruth's voice softened, the way she smiled through emotion, the way the moment felt less like an ending and more like a transition. It sparked conversations everywhere, about love, about longevity, about how relationships evolve rather than disappear. Some viewers joked through their tears, saying it felt like watching parents explain a big life change. Others admitted they had to pause the screen just to process what they were feeling. Humor and heartbreak danced together, creating a moment that felt honest instead of heavy. And that honesty is why it resonated. Ruth didn't try to protect the audience from emotion. She trusted them with it, and in return, viewers held the moment with care. As the farewell unfolded, something unexpected happened. Excitement. Not the loud kind, but the quiet curiosity of what comes next. Because this didn't feel like loss, it felt like evolution,
a turning page, a moment where one chapter closes gently so another can open without force. That sense of forward motion softened the sadness. It reminded people that change doesn't always mean separation. Sometimes it simply means growth. Fans began sharing memories, favorite moments, lines that made them laugh, scenes that felt comforting on difficult days. Ruth Langsford wasn't just being watched, she was being remembered. And memory is powerful. It keeps moments alive long after the screen goes dark. As the emotions settled, gratitude filled the space where shock had been. Gratitude for honesty, for warmth, for showing strength and vulnerability can exist side by side, for reminding viewers that it's okay to feel deeply even on a weekday screen. There was also admiration for the grace with which Ruth handled the moment. She didn't over-explain, she didn't hide, she simply was. And that authenticity spoke louder than any dramatic speech ever could. In the days that followed, fans continued to talk, not with panic, but with appreciation, not with fear, but with reflection, because sometimes the most powerful moments aren't the ones that shout, they're the ones that whisper and stay with you. And that's what this goodbye did. It lingered. It reminded people why they connected in the first place, why familiarity matters, why shared experiences, even through a screen, can feel meaningful and real. If this moment touched you, you weren't alone. If it made you smile through tears, that was the point. If it reminded you of someone important in your own life, then it did its job. Moments like these aren't meant to rush past. They're meant to be felt, shared, and remembered. So take a second. Think about what stood out to you. The smile, the pause, the honesty. Share that feeling. Share that memory. Because stories like this don't belong to one person. They belong to everyone who felt them. And in that way, this goodbye wasn't an ending at all. It was a reminder of connection. Gentle, heartfelt, and quietly unforgettable.